again, like you said, 2007 or 2006, excuse me, you redshirted as a true freshman. You had that knee injury, which knocked you out. 2007, though, is when you come in, you're listed as a D lineman, but you got your number changed from 81 to 60, and you get moved to the offensive line. Sort of a two-part question, because I'd love to know, again, like you said, I'm sure that was kind of a shock to you, and I don't know how well received it was, but what was the conversation like? I mean, did they just tell you, hey, man, we're moving you to O-line? And then Steve Spurrier, I want to get your thoughts on Coach Spurrier, the interactions with him, your relationship, because I would imagine he was somewhat part of that conversation, but yeah, what was that like for you? I know that's got to be a shock. You get recruited as a defensive player and you have all these dreams and aspirations. It's like, hey, man, you're moving to O-line, which is not a glorious position, by the way. It's not like playing DM where you're making plays and you're getting credit and recognition. The offensive linemen are the unsung heroes. You don't get the credit that you get, playing defense.
Not at all. The only time you get recognized is when you give up a sack.
When you mess up, yeah.
When you mess up. Every time, like, you give up a sack, Coach Spurrier be like, we had a receiver open on that play. I'm like, of course. On the play that I gave up a sack, as a receiver open. But man, when Coach Spurrier came to me and told me that, I believe we were sitting out in the field, and he gave me a shot. Coach Spurrier, man, I have no bad words for Coach Spurrier, man. He's a real true players coach. He truly, his wife is amazing. She was just such a sweet lady, and I could talk to her as well, but Coach Spurrier, he was a good dude, man. And he was all for winning. He taught us that competitive spirit and how to be competitors and how to, take the game serious and how to, approach the game. And he just when he came to me, he was like, man, you're at the bottom of the depth chart at D tackle, just straight shooter. You're at the bottom of the depth chart, D tackle, and we feel that you're a fighter, and we need some fight on the O-line. And if you could, we're not if you could, we're moving you to the O-line, and we want you to be a guard. So you're gonna start working with Coach Said, and Coach Said was there. He used to be one of the great offensive linemen and everything like that. Said Williams.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So he was there, and he was at the time he was a graduate assistant. So he used to work with me after practice every day. Work with me after practice every day. And in the beginning, I was like, hell no. In the beginning, I was like, I hate this. I was just, I was fighting it, But once I figured I'm not going, like, this is my best chance to play. This is my best opportunity to get on the field. I got to learn a whole new position. I got to learn all new traits and skills, but, ended up working out, And Coach Said, man, I thank Coach Said for starting me on the process of getting good, of knowing how to be as an offensive lineman and knowing, what to do in the weight room and everything, so it all changed. My whole dynamic changed. Food, I got to eat a lot. I got to eat a lot more when I became offensive lineman. I can tell you that. But it was cool. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I feel like the transition, Terrence, for you was pretty smooth, though, because, you started 9 games that first year at the guard position. You made a big impact immediately. I'll ask you again another two-part question. What do you think attributed to you becoming such a big-time impact player on that offensive line so quickly? Because, again, like you said, you were a defensive lineman. All of a sudden, now you're an offensive lineman, and you start 9 games. And then also, those first couple of starts, I know you got that first start in 2008 against Wofford, and I think you started against Tennessee. You started, like I said, 9 of the games. You start almost every game.
LSU.
Was there a moment, I was going to say, was there a moment for you where you were kind of like worried, where you're like, oh God, I really don't know how this is going to go. This is my first time getting on the offensive line. And you're taking on SEC defensive linemen, which,
Tyson
for itself.
Man, I remember vividly. That's a good question. I remember vividly. We were playing LSU. It was at home, and we was on the goal line or something like that. And Tyson Jackson was like, I can't remember the exact words he said, but it's something like, like he welcomed me to the SEC, or like he just talking shit, pounding on his chest. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing out here. I'm like, is this when we played at Florida and we got beat by like 50 and the crowd was going crazy, and I didn't know the plays that well. I used to have to ask Sorensen for the plays or what to do, and it was so loud in Florida that I couldn't hear anything. And I was just getting my butt towed up. It was a lot. That was a butt kicking year. I got a lot of butt whoopings that year. Against some of the smaller schools, I played decent against some smaller schools, but against a lot of them big time schools, man, it was some butt whoopings I took. So a lot of lashings. Just with me not having enough weight. I was a fighter. You know, Coach Spurrier just liked the fact that I was fighting. I ain't no, you know, excuse my language. I ain't no, you know, I'm not a pussy. I'm not scary.
Right.
You know, I'm not gonna be afraid to battle. You know, I'm not gonna be afraid to bang. You know, I'm definitely not. Now, did I have the proper weight? Did I have the proper technique? You know, did I know all the plays? Was I 100% confident in me doing my job? No. But I knew one thing: I would fight. You know, and I would try to, you know, I would try to battle. I would try to bang. You know, regardless. You know, so that was the main reason why Coach Spurrier put me out there. And we had a lot of injuries that year. Had a lot of injuries with the offensive line and stuff like that. So, you know, that was the main reason why he put me out there, because he just knew I was a fighter. And I really respect him and appreciate him for giving me the opportunity and that chance to go out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely that LSU game against Tyson Jackson. He was on the goal line. He pounded on his chest, and I can't remember the exact words he said, but it was basically like, "Welcome to the SEC" or something like that. You know, and I'm like, damn, it's real right here, like, you know. So that was probably one of the defining moments for me that year.